I feel like we have reached a turning point in terms of cinema, and that people don't really care about critics anymore. Now, I've kind of been having this feeling that people haven't been caring for critics over the last few years, but it really has solidified it for me today, because Godzillaxkong: The New Empire had its Thursday night previews yesterday, and also the review embargo lifted for it, and critically the movie is not doing well. It currently sits at the 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, which no way is bad, but it's like 1 point above Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. So either Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 is a cinematic masterpiece, or that critics don't really understand what the audience are looking for. But if you go to the audience score for the movie, it currently sits at a 93%, the highest in the franchise, and this movie on its Thursday night preview alone made $10 million domestically, which is the highest we have ever seen for the monsterverse, which is super impressive because the monsterverse is 10 years old at this point. So I feel like now people are starting to not really care about what critics think of movies, because for the longest time people have only cared what critics think of the movie. Do the critics think the movie's good? If they think the movie's good, then it's gotta be good. But I feel like now with the new age of the internet, and where people can express their views and opinions on stuff, I feel like people's views on listening to critics have really gone down. Like, no one really gives a shit about critics anymore. And I feel like critics nowadays don't really understand what the audience wants, because critics are a whole bunch of old farts who don't really care what other people think. They expect everything to be a cinematic masterpiece. At least that's what I feel like. Because if you go over to the critic reviews for Godzillaxkong: The New Empire, there's quite a few that compare this movie to Godzilla -1. They're doing the Doktor skipper, which immediately should discredit their views critically, because they should know that these movies are completely different things that have completely different goals. Godzilla -1 was a very serious and deep story that had really well written characters. That movie is a fantastic movie. However, Godzillaxkong: New Empire is not trying to be Godzilla -1. It's trying to be something completely different. Godzillaxkong: The New Empire is just a really fun, goofy Showa era movie. It's not meant to be something you sit there and think about and rethink your life decisions, or you're moved by the performances of the characters. That's not what you're there for. You're there to see giant monsters kick ass, and I feel like it's delivered so well. I should probably just state my view on the movie real quick. Movie is fantastic, peak fiction. It's got a lot of issues, but at the end of the day, those issues don't really ruin the movie for me. The movie's just really fun. It's fantastic, and I highly recommend you see it just for fun. It's a really fun movie, and I feel like it's the best in the monsterverse in terms of that. It's really fun. I keep saying that, but it's a really fun movie. And at the end of the day, that's what you're there to see. You're there to see Godzillaxkong: New Empire because it's a fun monster movie. That's it. You're not expecting to see Godzilla -1. I feel like these critics are not understanding that. I feel like they have a certain view in mind without really opening themselves up to seeing what the movie is and what the movie is meant to be. And I feel like nowadays people are starting to realize that critics have their own goals in mind, and also they can be easily paid off too, which is not a good thing, because somehow critics loved cuties. Like, either they're Sneeko fans or they got paid off, because I never understood that. And also nowadays, with how big the internet is, you could literally just go on YouTube, go on TikTok, and find content creators that like similar things you like and see what they thought of the movie. Like, literally, if I want to see what people thought of the new Godzillaxkong movie, I can literally just look it up and see people who also like Godzilla movies or like Kong movies or just like movies in general, and have their mind open and see what their view is on the movie. Not everyone's gonna like Godzillaxkong: New Empire, and I totally understand that. However, you could totally find people who are in the same niche as you. If you're a big fan of Godzilla, you could watch a Godzilla's YouTuber's review on it and see if the movie's good. And I think that's a great thing with the internet now, and people not really giving a shit about critics, because you could literally just look up what people think of the movie that aren't critics. Another example of a movie I could think of that critics didn't really like but the audience really loved, and in the end it did well financially, is the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Critics did not like the new Super Mario movie by Illumination. It has similar reviews compared to Godzillaxkong: New Empire, but audiences loved it, and the movie made $1 billion. So I think that's proof that the audience doesn't really care what critics think, because that movie had really good word of mouth. Like, everyone who saw the movie all agreed, like, yeah, the movie's pretty good. Another thing that really bugs me, I'm sorry, I'm just ranting at this point. Another thing that really bothers me is that people use critics either for or against a movie. I know I just said that people don't give a shit about critics, and that's true, but some people don't care about critics until it helps them reach a point. For example, a whole bunch of anti-woke YouTubers always talk about how you shouldn't listen to critics. Critics are bad, don't listen to them. But then as soon as a movie that they think is woke has negative reviews, then they use that as proof that this movie is in fact woke and no one cares about it. It's weird. I don't understand it. If people think a movie is bad, they will use the negative reviews from critics, which they are openly against, and use it as ammo to prove that the movie's bad. I don't get it. You shouldn't be using what critics think as ammo to talk about how a movie is bad when you're against critics. It does. I never understood that. I think people should stop doing that. If you have actual genuine criticism of the movie and you think a movie's bad, then explain why you don't like the movie. It's like, well, I don't like when they did this, I don't like the character here, I don't like this, I don't like that. You can explain it without using like, oh, you know, critics thought the movie was bad too. But then also a movie that they like that critics don't like, it's like, well, you know, you shouldn't be trusting critics. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. My friends and I recently had a late Christmas. I got this mug. It's a mug with boobs. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I can't drink out of it because if I drink it this way, the boobs hit my nose. If I do it this way, the boobs hit my chin. So I can't drink out of it. I can't have it in the back here because then I have to blur it for my videos. So I really don't know what to do with it. But thank you for getting me this. I don't know what to do with it, but I have it.
Where's the big one? Holy sh**. No! Stop! Please! No!
Don't you come in here, Chucky! Ooh, close the door!
What time is it? Oh my god, I don't have a clock. It's good talking to myself even though I'm lonely and depressed and I'm gonna kill myself. I just love playing with this action figure.
Oh my gosh, this is my new favorite toy.
Fuck, you said to me a little shit, you wanna fight, bro?
Suck my big black dick.
You know what? I try to be friends with you, and you're just like, try to be friends.
Come here, you fat bitch! Come here!
Oh, you! Oh, let you go! Let you go!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I am part of the people who worked on the film. I just gotta say, thank you guys so much for giving us 1.1 billion hours and hours working on it. We had to rewrite it 15 times. We had to hire 500 different writers. We still went over budget, so can you guys just give us a little bit more on our GoFundMe page?
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie horror game that you guys suggested en masse, and I saw that Yamimash played it and he said it was really, really good. So I'm very eager to see what is up. And that is a terrifying animatronic bear, family pizzeria looking for a security guard to work the night shift. Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie horror game that you guys suggested.